And as you are reclined and you have your legs out straight, notice how your body feels. And now that I'm on gallery view, also welcome Sally and Mary Beth. It's good to see everybody. On our backs, we change gravity, which is both a friend and a foe. And ideally here on your back, this is neutral. This is how your body was designed to orient itself. And we can use some of our body parts to check in to see if we have tension. Your sacrum, these 5 fused vertebrae that is part of your pelvis. On you, as you recline, where are you feeling the pressure on your sacrum? Is it more towards the tailbone? Or is it more towards the top of the pelvis? If it's more towards the tailbone, you might have a little bit more curve in your lumbar spine. It's lifted further away from the floor than maybe beneficial for your body. And maybe is the key word in that sense, because our bodies are all different. Ideally, you want to be centered on the sacrum, neither towards the tailbone nor the top. The top may indicate that you have more of a tucked pelvis, tension in the lower abdomen. The pelvis, the sacrum, and the back of your head, these 2 body parts travel ideally on the same plane. But if you find that your chin is pulling away from the chest so that you come to have more pressure on the top of the skull, that could indicate some tension around your neck or shoulders. And if that's how your head is resting right now, slide a blanket under your head so that you can orient more towards to the back of the head and not the top of the head. Now go ahead and bend up your knees. And place your hands on your lower abdomen. So we want to connect to the midsection first. And just begin to deepen the breath into the belly. And relaxing the belly as you exhale. Don't make it too hard. But this is the month I think most of us draw into shallow breathing because there's so much to do. Of course, we make our own to-do list, so we do have a say over that. So as the breath deepens, that means we are now engaging the diaphragm, the main muscle of breathing. And we're giving the muscles of the neck a break. The diaphragm and the psoas muscle both intersect on T12. So that's right in the middle of the trunk. The psoas is important because that connects to the spine and your thigh bone. And if the tension is too high on this, everything is jammed up in the pelvis, in the hip joint. And then as you inhale next, let your low back contract so you arch and the pelvis rolls towards the tailbone. And exhaling back and flatten, rolling towards the top of the sacrum. Slowly go back between arch on the in-breath and flattening on the out-breath. So rolling back and forth over the sacrum. Not too much. If there is pain and discomfort, as with anything we do, release, let go just a little bit less. Do a little bit less. Is this movement smooth and easy? Do you feel the sides of your sacrum evenly, or are you rolling more on one edge than the other? Good morning, Joanne. Good to see you. So just notice the movement as you arch and flatten. We are using both muscles above and below the pelvis. Now let's take the hands down alongside the hips. And as you inhale and arch, same as before, you'll exhale, same as before, and I missed my little cue there. Inhale, arch, and take the arms up overhead. And exhale, flatten the arms, comes back down again. Go back and forth. Inhale, arch, arms goes overhead. And exhale, take the arms down. This helps open up our chest, better breath. Notice how your chin orients with your tailbone. As the tailbone moves towards the floor, the chin moves towards the chest, and vice versa. Top of the sacrum, the chin moves away from the chest. When you move one end of the string, the other should move with it too. So you're still arching and flattening as the arms are flowing back and forth. Now, next time you draw the arms overhead, keeping them overhead as you flatten the back, flattening the back again. Inhale, arch, and then exhale, flattening. And notice how you have to work a little bit harder to keep the arms where they are as you flatten. So now we're getting a little bit more length up through the back of the body. There's a big pull from the shoulder joint down to the pelvis joint. Next time you flatten, stay there and straighten your legs out. So now we're in full body stretch. And nothing says pelvis mobility than Baxter. It's all about fluidity, which is the element of the sacral chakra. As you exhale, let's hug the right knee into the chest, lift the chin to the chest. Inhale, take the knee to the side. And exhale, take the knee across and twist. Go as far onto your left hip as is comfortable. Inhaling back to center. Interlace the fingers behind the thighs, stretch up through the heel. And exhale, hug the chin to chest, knee in again. Inhale, full body stretch. Left side, hugging the knee in. Take the head down and the knee to the side. Switch, give your knee to the right hand so you can twist. And we inhale back to center for the hamstring event. And exhale, hug the chin to the chest, knee to chest, and full body stretch. So many of you know this sequence very well. I invite you just to go at your own pace. Exhaling in, right side again, chin to chest, knee to chest, and opening up to the side. And as you take the knee out to the side, keeping it really high still. Don't let it drift down. Come across and twist. Back to center, hamstring event. And exhale, chin to chest, knee to chin, and full body stretch. Again, other side, left side, hugging in. Take the knee out and hold the knee on the outside. So you can hold it up in a high flexion if it's available. Back to center. Interlace for the hamstring. And hugging back in. We're going to do a total of 3 repetitions on each side. So moving at a pace that's comfortable for your body. So it's a very simple sequence, hugging in, half bound angle pose, external rotation, internal with the glute stretch as we twist, coming back to center, press up through the heel for the hamstring preview, and we bookend it, hugging in, full body stretch. So we'll finish up on the left side. And you, of course, may be ahead of me. That's okay. Knee out to the side. Exhale across. Take the heel to the sky and hugging back in. And finish with the full body stretch. Take the hands down alongside the hips and just relax and notice from when we started till now, what might have changed in your body. Notice again the sacrum and the back of your head. How are your shoulders resting? And is there any chattiness anywhere in your body? Sometimes we just put a little happy sticker on top of that chattiness and say, I'll deal with you later. Maybe it'll just go away. But it is our body's way of communicating with us that something ain't quite right. And the sooner we tend to it, the sooner we can help the body regain ease. Now let's bend up the knees. Press the hands down, but broaden the collarbone so the back of the shoulder are pressing down too. Walk your heels in as tight to the hips as is comfortable for you for bridge pose. So inhale, press the hips up, and exhale, lowering down. Moving with your breath, inhale, lifting, and lowering. Now going back to last week's pondering, the four corners of your feet stay anchored as you lift the hips, keeping the knees from straying. Next time you lift up, we're going to stay up. You can either keep your arms and hands where they are and simply press them down. You can also roll the shoulders under, interlace the fingers, and straighten the elbows as you press the arms down. If the elbows are bending here, then release the clasp of the hands and just have them down straight. Now inhale, lifting the hips, lift the heels, and give your glutes a little extra squeeze. Take the heels back down. Keep the height of the bridge. Keep the height of the bridge. Strong, open. Hip extension, which is what we're in right now. We need to maintain that for a healthy gait. We sit down a lot. We lose this extension and we begin to shuffle. Now release the hands and slowly come down. So there are many poses in yoga that helps us with that. Lunges and warrior one, or just a couple of those, all the back bends. Now you're going to scooch towards the wall. You're going to place both feet on the wall, and this is also the sequence of the strangling shirt. So you are forewarned. Scooch towards the wall so your knees are bent up, maybe 4 or 5 inches-ish. So I have a pretty, not substantial bend, but a bit of a bend. So this shuffling, sliding in and out is part of the sequence. So now your knees are bent up, my feet are on the wall. Taking the right knee in, hug the knee in, feet pressing onto the wall, taking a breath in, and as you exhale, straighten the left leg, pressing into the wall. So your left leg is firmly grounding on the wall while you keep hugging your left knee in. So your right knee in, your left leg is straight. Your left leg has straightened out all the way. So you're now in a lunge position. To release from this, first release your wall foot. Bend that knee up, place it back on the mat, and then release your right foot down. And we're going to scooch back in a couple of inches. Place your right foot on the wall and hug the left knee in. Place the right foot on the wall, hug the left knee in. Sally, can you see me? Are you trying to get a... So as you're hugging the knee in, take a breath in and exhale, press yourself away from the wall. So this helps get the psoas re-lengthened back out. Again, that is our hip extender. Pressing, we're going to take a breath in and out. On the next in breath, first release your wall leg. There's a tremendous amount of tension across the sacrum. And then take your hug knee back in. Scooch back in, and then again, the case of the strangling shirts, placing the feet on the wall. Take your right knee in again. This time, take your strap and hook your right foot. Now you may be able to hold the foot with your hand, but we're going to be transitioning right into the hamstring stretch, but we're beginning in this lunge position. So take your knee as close to your chest as you can. Your right knee is as close to the chest as it will go. The bottom of the right foot faces towards the skies, and hold your foot with your strap or your hands, strap or hands. And now take a breath in and exhale. Push yourself away from the wall. You're still in the lunge position. Knee is still on the chest. Knee is on the chest. So if you squint, can you see if I flip you over here, you would be in a lunge? Strong grounding of the bottom leg, strong grounding of the left leg. Now slowly straighten the right knee, and we're in the hamstring stretch. So now you adjust the tension on your loop that we created at the beginning. So you can just hook your hands over the loop. The elbows are straight. Keep pressing your left foot into the wall, into the wall. And now check that your right knee is straight. Your right knee is straight. To give yourself enough strap, you can straighten your right knee completely. And you can take your left hand onto your right quadricep. Is it firm? If the right knee is not straight, that means the quadriceps have not engaged. If the quadriceps haven't engaged, the hamstrings cannot release. Cannot release. So with both hands on, we go to work. As you inhale, there's a sense of space. The quadricep lets go a little bit, but on the out breath, contract the quadricep firmly, draw them onto the thigh bone, straighten your knee as you press up through the heel and ground through the outer hip. Soften a little bit on the in breath, and we repeat this action. Contract the quadricep, drawing it onto the thigh bone. There's a sense of the kneecap really firming up on the leg, pressing up through the heel and ground through the outer hip. Your leg is firm, super firm. Take one more breath. And contract on the out breath. Contract. Firm up the kneecap, sense of pulling the kneecap towards the hip. Now, take the strap into your left hand, holding with your left hand, take your outer right hand take your right hand to your outer right hip and hook the hip. You're going to draw your right foot just across the center line of the body. Just across the center line. Look at your right knee. Does it look at your right shoulder still? So that the leg has maintained a little external rotation, dialing outward. Put a little bit of fight between the foot and the hand. So the hand is pulling the foot across the body, but the foot says, I am not allowed to go any further than the left shoulder. No further than lining up with the left shoulder. And as you add this little tuck, or you can feel how your outer right hip engages. So you are both lengthening and strengthening simultaneously. Do the action on the out breath. Exert on the exhalation. Give your body a little pause on the in breath. And then on the next in breath, we go back to center. Now take the strap into your right hand. Left arm can come out to the side. And bring awareness to your sacrum. You'll center it on the sacrum. Move the blocks out of the way. Centered on the sacrum. As best as you can, you're going to stay centered on the sacrum. Use your wall leg to anchor your pelvis. Take a deep inhalation and take your leg out to the right. Let your right elbow come onto the floor to support you. So the right elbow comes down. It helps with the weight of the legs. Now the hand here is going to do the same thing. It's going to continue to pull the leg down, but the leg is going to resist this action. So we are strengthening the inner groin. Now let there be a little truce on the in breath. But as you exhale, you exert again. Hand pulls down, foot pulls up. One more breath. On the out breath, hand pulls down, but the foot pulls up. Using your inner groins. Let's inhale all the way up. Now let's hug the knee back in to the chest. Release the wall leg and take the right leg down. Straightening the legs out and just scoops a little bit away from the wall so you're not encumbered by the wall. And just notice the sensation in your right leg, right hip, and your left side. Maybe you feel that more of your right leg is touching the floor. Notice the breath in your lower abdomen. Bend up the knees, and we'll scoot back in again. This time, let's place the right foot on the wall. Knee is bent up. Knee is bent up. We're going to hug the left knee back in and strap the left foot. Walk the hands up the strap. Maybe hold the foot so the bottom of the foot is facing towards the sky. Bottom of the foot is towards the sky. Bottom of the foot is towards the sky. Yes. So the tight hip flexors may make that a little uncomfortable. So you might need to take the knee up a little higher so that the foot is not aiming forward, but as best as you can, straight up. From here, take a breath in and exhale, straightening your right knee. Create a very tight bind between the wall and the foot. And this is a good place to just hang out once in a while to create a little bit more opening across the front of the hips. Now take your hands to the strap as you straighten the leg. We in the hamstring stretch again. Knee is straight. Strong grounding of your right foot on the wall. So straighten the right leg as well. Straighten the right leg as well. And I like using the loop for my hands. So I'm again not getting grippy in my hands doing this pose. And we are ready to get to work. Inhaling. This is our truce. We reset everything. Check that the knee is straight. Exhale, contract the front of the left thigh, but ground the right leg into the wall as well. Reach up through your left heel. And then soften slightly on the in-breath. And exhale, we exert again. Draw the quad, the front of the thigh, onto the thigh bone. Squeeze the kneecap. Squeeze around the kneecap. And then soften. And one more time. Contract. Keep your wall leg strong and powerful, pressing the back of your right leg to the floor. So that your spine here is neutral, so you're still neutral spine. You're on the center of your sacrum as best as you can. If you roll to the top of your sacrum, then you are lifting the pelvis. So we're just maintaining neutral pelvis and isolating the hip movement. All right, let's take the strap into the right hand, left hand to the outer left hip. Grab the outer hip, that's your greater trochanter. Draw the outer hip down. That's to make sure that you're not shortening the left side waist. Let's take a breath in and draw the leg across the center line. And now we're going to do our little tug of war, but only exert on the out breath. Foot is trying to pull back home, but the hand says, nope, you're going to stay right here. What muscles are you using to do this? Exert on the exhalation. Let there be a little pause of effort on the in-breath. One more breath. And come back to center. Let's take the strap into the left hand, right arm up to the side. Deep breath in and release the foot out to the side as best as you can. Stay centered on the sacrum. Using your left elbow to support the weight of the leg. But again, here, we're going to do a little tug of war, but only on the out breath. Pulling the foot down closer to the floor and the foot saying, nay, not going. Keep your right foot firmly on the wall. Steady breath, steady pose. And on the in-breath, up we come. Hug the knee back towards the chest. Press the right leg into the wall. Release the right leg and release the left leg. Put the strap to the side and unstrangle your shirt. Straighten the legs out. So these three hip movements we know from the morning sequence. We do them as part of that. So now we're getting to the other one. The secret ones, not so much, but we don't always get those put into our sequence. But they are equally important. Now bend up your knees, but bend your knees up at about a 90 degree. So not as tight as if you were doing bridge. Your feet are further out. Walk your right foot off the mat to the right side, walking it out to the right side. And then flex your ankle, flex your right ankle, and release your knee, your right knee down towards the midline. And just lift your head and look. Does it go straight out from the hip? So adjust where you landed your foot. We want the knee aligning with the hip, aligning with the shoulder joint. It's a straight line. Now lift the knee up again and lower it back down. So we're going to pivot back and forth several times. You're pivoting on the heel. Keep the ankle flexed. Notice the movement in your pelvis. Is there a lot of movement in your pelvis? This purely hip mobility. So keep your pelvis as still as you can. Flatten your back a little bit can be helpful so that the lumbar spine is not rocking and rolling along with your hip. Next time you release the knee down towards the midline, we're going to hold it here. And then take your fingers, your middle fingers, maybe the ring finger and the pinky finger, the index finger will help out. Place them at your belly button, slide down about an inch, maybe half an inch. It's not a big movement. And then travel out to the right side until you bump into your pelvic bone. Now press your fingers down here, not too much, but not too little either. So you're right inside your pelvic bone. Let's inhale, take a deep in breath, pull the abdomen in and up. Now press your fingers down, you're pinning your psoas. And then as you exhale, lengthen the knee out, away from the hip. Lengthen the knee out and away from the hip. And you can feel how this is pulling on the psoas as you do so. Are you pinning it? And then as you inhale, let go a little bit. Draw the abdomen in and up. Repin the psoas. And exhale. Again, lengthen the knee out towards the wall, but maybe also towards the floor. So deepen in the internal rotation. That's still staying centered on the sacrum. So your knee is dropping in towards the midline, yes. And it lines up with your hip and your shoulder, hip and shoulder. Midline. So Deanna, I'm looking at you. Drawing the knee inward, not out to the side. Inwards. The foot is out to the side. Yes, the foot is out to the side. So this is internal rotation. If there's pinchiness in the knee doing this, it may be that the bend is past 90 degrees. And this inhale up again. Sally, you have a question? Now walk, lift your knee up and then toe heel, the foot back in again. Walk your left foot, toe heel out, walk it off the mat. Left leg walks out to the side. And again, as you flex the ankle and lower the knee down towards the midline, the knee lowers down to the midline. Just look up. As best as you can gauge, 90-degree angle behind the knee, and the knee lines up with the hip and with the shoulder. With the hip and the shoulder. There should be no discomfort in your knee from this movement. If it hurts, don't go so deep, and also maybe straightening the knee out a little bit. And then let's pivot the knee up and down, pivoting. And as you pivot, can you keep your pelvis relatively still? So this is a pure hip movement. Pure hip movement. We do a lot of compensatory, that's a big word to spit out, compensatory movement patterns. If we're lacking mobility in one joint, the adjacent joints says that's a real problem, we'll just help you out. But that can put a lot of wear and tear on these other joints. Now let's keep the knee down to the midline. Knee is down towards the midline. And then again, look up. Does it center with the hip and your shoulder? Keep pulling your toes towards the shin. And let's pin the psoas now on the left side. So start at the belly button, travel down, slide out to the left side. You're right inside the hip bone. And then draw the breath in and pull the abdomen in and up. Press the fingers down, pin the psoas, and then lengthen the knee away from the hip as you are rotating it inward towards the center line. As you inhale, let go of the hands a little bit, retrace the abdomen in and up. Pin the psoas and repeat the internal rotation. So we are opening up across the hip joint, having a little chat with the deep six. Let's do it one more time.
Anne, have we moved to the left side?
Yes, Sally, we have. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, you're on the left now. So the knee is down towards the center line. You're pinning the psoas with the hands and drawing the knee towards the wall. And then after about 3 breaths, let go. So this is not one you want to do if you have to go to the bathroom with just 8. So empty stomach, empty bladder. They always say that in our classes when you come to class. Lift the knee up, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Come back in. So internal rotation, check. Now external rotation. That is where we move the knees away from the center line. Here the knees are again at about 90 degrees. Hook your left foot behind the right heel. So you're going to hook your left ankle, the front of your left ankle, behind the right heel. Relax your left knee down towards the floor. Keep a little flattening in your low back as you do so. Now take your right foot and rest your right outer ankle across your left knee. And then relax your right knee towards the floor. Now look up at your knees. Your thigh bones and your trunk creates a Y shape. And you may find that your right knee is more towards the sky than out to the side. If it's sticking straight up, then straighten your left knee. Then straightening your left knee. But if you have begun to drop out, then keep both knees bent up. Draw the low back towards the floor, centered on the sacrum. And then with each out breath, let your right knee relax a little bit further to the floor. Now you are keeping both ankles flexed. Both ankles are flexed. So your shins are stacked. Your shins are stacked, one on top of the other. This is a sequence I only teach about twice a year, but if there's ever a good time to teach it, it is right now. Our hips are our emotional junk drawers. And looking at maybe another, 6 months of COVID ponderings before we're going to start to be out of the woods. It can be a little traumatizing. That's putting it kindly. So give yourself a time out, and some of the anxiety and irritation and emotional distress we stop into our pelvis. We want to release out so there's no physical tension here. You're going to switch to the other side. Come out of this pose the way you came into it. Lift your right knee up first. Place the foot down in front of your left foot. Slide the left foot back. And we're back in business. Pause. You may not have noticed that the internal rotation was super easy for you, but the external was not, or vice versa. We tend to have a slight imbalance in these joints. Either we have a lock one way, but we're locked up the other. So just pay attention to which seems to be the area that you have more flexibility, inner or outer. Now let's hook the right foot behind the left heel. Flex that ankle, and then flex your left ankle as you place your ankle bone on your right knee, releasing the knees down to the side. So now, again, stacking the shins, but if your left knee is pointing more upwards, looking at the sky rather than out to the side, go ahead and straighten your bottom leg out. So ankles are stacked, the shins are stacked, but the ankles are lining up with your knee joints, lining up with the knee joints, so that you're crossing your left foot across the knee. The left foot is to the outside of the knee, not the inside. So keep sliding it further across. This is our pre-lotus pose. We do this pose sitting up too. It's called fire log pose. But when we are laying down, oh, those front hip flexors get to lengthen out all the way. Draw the low back towards the floor. Draw the low back towards the floor. And it's ready to disembark. Lift your left knee up first. Place the foot back down where you found it. And slide the right leg out. And we are back where we started. Now, scoots away from the wall, full body stretch. Pressing up through the heels, press up through the hands. And come on to your belly. Come on to your belly. See, time flies when you're having fun. As you come onto your abdomen, come into Sphinx pose. Elbows under the shoulders. I'm going to aim the camera down a little bit more. I think you're losing my belly here. Dook. Now, in the classical hip sequence, taught to me by both Terry Brown and Adil, the next pose is not the one they teach us. They teach Ekapada Supta Virasana, and if the name alone was an indication, Terry also said once, if your classes are getting too big, teach this pose and that will wean them out of it. So we're going to do something that's a little bit gentler than the reclined hero's pose. Swing your left forearm in front, so it is parallel with the frontets of your mat. And then bend your right knee up and reach back and catch the top of your right foot. This is our quad stretch. You can use a strap here too to help draw the heel towards the hip. So the quads, fascinating muscle group. You got four, as the name indicates, but only one of them crosses over the pelvis, the middle one. So right now, as you're pulling the heel towards the chest, we're getting that big, long attachment. And since the attachments here also crosses over the knee joint, it's a two joint event. If this muscle is tight, it jams the knee joint on the front. If the hamstrings are tight, it compresses the knee joint on the back. So we want flexibility, but strength. All right, let's do the other side. So again, supporting yourself on your forearm. Now you don't have to be in a back bend. You can totally just rest the forehead on the floor if that is better for your body. But it's a little easier to catch your foot as you lay on the belly with a little bit of a back bend. Oh, Agnes, I see your buddy's back. So draw the heel towards the tush, What this pose has a benefit is over reclined hero's pose is that we are not compressing the joint with our body weight. So it's a little bit safer. All right, that took care of the big dude. Now let's switch back to the first side. Catch the foot again. So right side, right arm caps the top of the foot. So we are extending the ankle joint, not flexing it. And now, instead of drawing the heel towards the glute, draw the heel to the outside of your hip. Draw the heel to the outside of the hip. So now we are having a chat with a different quadricep. So the three other quadriceps do not cross the hip bone. They're just on the thigh bone and then below the knee. So can you feel how you're talking to a different muscle? Foot to the outside of the hip. And then release this. And we switch to the other side. So this pose, this position mimics our hero's pose where we sit with the heels on the outside of the hips. So drawing the foot with the stretched ankle to the outside. Keep drawing the hips towards the floor. And only go as far as your body allows today. So heel to the outside of the hip. And then slowly release. Let's take the hands under the shoulders, forehead on the mat. Stretch back through the toes and roll the shoulders up and down the back. Inhale, we lift up into cobra pose. And exhale back to puppy pose. Inhale, let's come forward again. High cobra this time. High cobra, keep the elbows straight. And draw back to puppy one more time. Last one, forward. Tall cobra, flip the feet now, lift the knees into upward facing dog. And draw back to downward facing dog. Walk the hands back about a hand length. Heels are on the wall if you have a wall available. Heels on the wall. Draw the hips up towards the wall, pulling up, pulling up, pulling up. And then step your right foot up the wall. Step the right leg up the wall. Bend your left knee. We're back in a lunge. Reach the right foot up, reach the right foot up. Straighten the left leg. And switch, take the right foot down, take the left leg up. Right foot down, left leg up, as high as you can get it. And bend your right knee. So you're in Warrior One right now. I might not feel like it. We play a lot with orientation in our pose. Step the right leg down. Sorry, step the left leg down. And last, just push into downward facing dog again. And here we are, wide knee child's pose. Wide knee child's pose. Take the knees on the mat and sit back. If wide knee child's pose is not your happy place, come onto your back for happy baby pose. Same pose, same pose. And then take your hands under your shoulders and sit up. Supta Baddha Konasana. It's one of the most powerful restorative poses we have. It soothes every system in the body. So start with a blanket. Fold it the long way. If you don't have blankets, you're going to grab cushions, pillows, whatever you can lay your hands on. So ideally 2 blankets. One blanket is to support your spine, and the second blanket, I'm going to fold opposite. That's for my head. So I'm going to place that crossways. If you have a bolster, this is a great place to use that. You're just going to get more height, but this is a good place to begin. Now you're going to take your strap and make it big. Open your strap out, but have a loop, and then you're going to put that loop around your back. So whether it's a D-ring or a clicker for making the loop. If your strap, again, doesn't have a D-ring, no worries, you just will skip using the strap for this one here. With your loop, right now I have it caught sloppily around the upper back. Let's take that down around the rim of the pelvis. So the loop goes around the rim of the pelvis. And then I'm going to hook my feet from the inner groins. So the strap comes from around my back to catching my feet. You want the tail end of your belt to be pointing towards you. Janice, take the strap inside your knees. Inside your knees. So yes, so unhook it, just unhook the strap from your feet. And then take it, instead of being outside, being inside. Take the strap long, you probably can't quite see the colors here. So you have your strap up, it's just about my back right now. It's just around my back right now. And then it's long enough where I can catch and hook my feet. So I'm just hooking my feet. And make sure that the strap is, Janice, look at me again. Your strap is on the outside of your knees. It needs to be on the inside of your knees. Yes, there you go. And then the strap is around the sacrum. It's not in your low back. So move the strap down so it's hugging bone, not in your lumbar spine. Tighten the strap up. So as you pull your strap end, your tail towards you, it'll pull the heels closer to your groins. And then your blocks for your outer thighs. But first, before we know where the block's going to be, let's come onto our back. So watch here. I'm going to create length first, and then I'm going to lower down on my blanket support, get my head just right, and then support my outer knees. Might be here, I'll give it another little tuck, and then I'll move the buckle so it's not on skin. That's always a big nay, 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 not on skin. Now I'm ready to let go. Everything is tucked in and held in place. So let me have a look-see. So that you feel the strap pull is under the lower, so holding the pelvis in place. And as you tuck on the strap, you can pull the knees in, the heels in a little tighter. Moving the buckle so it's not touching your skin. So we create the support of the pelvis, knee, hip integration with the strap. Enough support under the head where the chin is bowing slightly towards the chest. So Deanna, this is where too, I said, if you grabbed all those beautiful pillows, you can use those under your head. Now I tell you that now as you're well down. But take a look-see around in your body. Is this comfortable? Are you supported where you need to be supported? Can you let go and relax? So again, have the strap not in the low back, but on the pelvis. It's on the rim of the pelvis. So not pulling on any of the lumbar vertebrae. And letting the breath deepen again. And in the restorative poses, engaging the Ujjayi out breath can be tremendously beneficial. So a slight restriction of the throat, the glottis, creating that gentle hissing sound. So again, let there be blocks to support your outer thighs. You don't want your thighs to be hanging in this position. Whenever there's a longer hold of any pose, we want either to support the muscles or with blocks, or engage the muscles so that we're not hanging in tendons and ligaments. So let the exhalation be slightly longer, and maybe with the this opens up your hip, your pelvis, your lower abdomen, your heart center. So it provides great healing to all of these areas in our body. If you wake up in the middle of the night, you can prop yourself up in bed in this way with pillows, animals. And then elongating the out breath, that'll help you go back to sleep. Now to transfer into Salamba Shavasana, take your knees together with your hands. Take your knees together with your hands. And you can pull the strap so you can get your feet in, so you can unhook your feet. So draw the knees together first, and then pull the strap off your feet, and then simply straightening the legs out all of the way. Letting go of all effort. Allow yourself just to rest into the rhythm of your breath. Now gently begin to deepen your breath. Wiggling fingers and toes. Bend up the knees. And maybe hug the knees in if your back feels like that would be a treat that helps bring length to the lumbar spine. Or simply rock the knees from side to side. Eventually find your way over onto your right side or left if that is a better choice for your body today. Notice your body, your breath, your state of mind. Has any of this changed from an hour ago? The Hatha practice targets these three specifically. Using your arms and hands to press up into a comfortable seated posture. And we will prepare to close. Anjali Mudra, Anjali Heart. Letting your thumbs touch your sternum, physically connecting to your inner light. And then sharing the mantra and chant for peace. The Om Shanti 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 Hi Om. Let's take a deep breath in. Om Shanti 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 Om. Exhale and bow your head towards your heart. May there be peace in your heart, in your life, and may there be peace in the world that we share. Let's inhale and draw the gaze back up. Namaste.